and welcome to this essential pre-shift yoga-inspired stretch and strengthening sort of exercise, okay? So this is going to be focused on releasing some tension in your neck and shoulders, your upper back. This is specifically with bartenders, waitresses, security guards in mind. These are people who are standing on their feet, as you know, all night long, carrying things, shaking tins. You know, the tension gets up in the shoulders really easily. So we're going to put a lot of focus on relieving that. We're also going to put some focus on core strengthening. Just a little bit, not so much that you're going to feel super fatigued afterwards, but the opposite effect is that you'll feel activated and energized, so that when you do get to your shift later on, you're not sort of dumping into your joints, you're not having to babysit some of this tenderness in the lower back, but instead everything is kind of functioning, everything is awake, energized, and moving how it's supposed to be moving, okay? So I will encourage you for today's session to get a little bit of some muscle rub of some sort. I have Tiger Balm. You can use any type of like CBD rub or anything that you have at home. Take a minute, pause the video, whatever you need to do. Go and grab a little some. We're going to apply a little bit to the neck, the upper back, and anywhere else where you're feeling particularly sore or tender today. Again, my focus is to help you relieve tension and stress in the neck and shoulders, upper back, while strengthening the core and getting you ready for a fantastic shift tonight. So whenever you're ready, I'm ready too, and let's get to it. I want to have you begin leaning up against the wall. So if you are using like a blanket or a yoga mat, make sure that the long ways of the mat is lined up with the wall. And that will be important later on. If you don't have a yoga mat, don't worry about it. I would though make sure that you have like a folded up blanket, towel, a pillow, something that you're going to want to put under your knees a little bit later on. So as we're first getting started, you're going to take your balm, whatever you got here, and if you don't, also if you don't have any, like literally don't worry about it. You can use this time to just kind of massage your neck and shoulders, massage those tender places on your body, start waking them up, warming up those muscles. So we're just going to apply a little bit wherever is needed and really massaging it into your skin. Particularly if you're using a cannabis-based oil or balm or whatever you have, you're going to want to reapply in about 10 minutes. I will let you know when that time comes. And that way you're getting the most benefit out of it. You're really like opening up the receptors so that they kind of become aware to the fact that, oh, there's medicine coming in. And then once they're totally like aware of the fact and ready to absorb, then you reapply, put a little more in there, it's soaked up immediately, coupled with the movement that we're going to do together, will really give you an opportunity to actually like physically release some of the heat and some of the tightness that is living in your body right now. So take your time doing that. And as you feel ready, we're going to just start warming up the neck and shoulders, taking some big rolls with the shoulders, rolling them forwards. Starting to connect with your breath here, inhaling as the shoulders roll up towards the ears, and exhaling as they roll down. Switching the direction, so inhale, shoulders come forwards and up, and then exhale, rolling them down and back. Closing the eyes if that feels good and comfortable. Inhaling big, and exhaling big. Continuing to move here. Maybe you bring one ear to one shoulder, kind of swaying the head from side to side, starting to wake up and stretch out the sides of the neck. You could even bring the chin down towards your chest, and then you're sort of rounding like this pendulum swing, bringing one ear to one shoulder and then switching to the other side. So really taking these first few minutes just to warm up. Not only warming up the muscles, but warming yourself up kind of mentally, emotionally, getting ready to lean into this deeply relaxing and relieving practice. Remembering that as you move throughout today's session, I will always encourage you to keep your eyes closed, to breathe big, loudly, and deeply, and not worry so much about what you see on the screen in front of you. You could even turn your phone or your computer away from you. As long as you can hear me, that's what matters. And I want you to be moving in a way that feels good in your body. So anything that I say, any type of movement that I suggest to you, just take it as just that, a suggestion. If it feels weird, it doesn't feel quite accessible, or just not comfortable in the moment, don't worry about it, leave it, shake something else. Listen to your body, do what feels good, okay? So as you feel ready, starting to come into stillness for a moment, maybe you keep the hands face down on the knees, or maybe both hands come over the heart, one on the heart, one on the belly, whatever feels natural and good. Pausing here to just become aware of how you feel. Perhaps you feel a little tingling sensation from whatever balm or salve you used on your sore muscles. Maybe you feel a little bit of a cold sensation. Maybe there's a fan or a breeze blowing against your sort of subtly moist skin. Take a deep breath in through your nose, fill up your chest, fill up your belly. Hold that breath in. Let it out with a sigh. Twice more. Deep breath comes in through the nose. Flushing the lungs, flushing the belly, holding that breath in, as though you're using that fresh oxygen to sort of scrape to the corners of your bodies, scraping up any stagnant energy or tension that's there. Then when you're ready, H-A, sigh it out. One more time, a deep breath in through your nose, filling yourself up. Feel your ribcage expanding in every direction. Feel the head lifting up off the shoulders, the neck lengthening. Sigh it out. Fluttering the eyes open whenever you feel ready, or if you feel ready to, you're going to cross your legs the other way. So whichever foot was sort of in front and on top, just go ahead and switch that. Feel free to keep the gaze low as you're practicing now. So rather than opening the eyes wide, maybe you're just sort of looking down, like keeping the energy nice and mellow. You're going to start to make some circles with the wrists here. So you have these little gentle fists going on, little soft fists. Just making some circles. Make sure that you switch the direction as well. Maybe you start to spread through the fingers too. Start feeling the little difference in motion that comes with opening up the hands, and where you can feel it differently in the forearms or in the wrists. Sort of experimenting with that for a moment, and then opening your arms out to the sides. Fingers are nice and long here. Maybe you flex through the wrists. Point the fingers down, point the fingers up. Take a few moments really reaching both hands away from each other as far as they can go. So from fingertip to fingertip, across the back of the shoulders, across the chest. You're reaching. Keep that, and now flip the palms up towards the ceiling. See how that changes the sensation, even if just subtly. From here, you're going to start to lean from one side to the other. Like you're reaching for something. You're trying to grab, just trying to grab one glass off the table. You know, when there's like this giant like table of 10 people or something, and you're like, gosh, if I could just reach that one last glass to bust this. Like, you'll lean over all these people. You're reaching. Feeling that a little bit in the sides of your waist. And the next time you reach over to the right, drop that right hand down. Reach the left arm up over your head for a big side body stretch here. Maybe you feel the stretch all the way through that right arm as well. The left arm here. Keep reaching. And at the same time, you're grounding down through that opposite knee. So you have the left arm overhead. Your left knee is also grounding down as you keep on reaching towards the right. Now you're going to round through your chest and your upper back, rounding forwards, tucking the chin until that right arm comes up overhead this time. So you have that same side body stretch, but on the other side. So you have the right arm up, left hand down, right knee, right hip is grounding you down here. So you can have even bigger stretch even through the hip, all the way through the waist, up through the top of the fingertips. Take another deep inhale here, and then rounding forwards once more, reaching the left arm up, and reach all the way up, and start your reaching from side to side once more. Continuing to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. And the next time you're reaching to the left hand comes down, right arm comes all the way up overhead. This time right away rounding forwards, switching to the other side, big side body stretch here, open the chest, and then reaching around the other way. Last time, right arm reaches up, and bringing it all the way up. You're going to wrap the arms around yourself, giving yourself a hug. If you can reach, you're sort of striving to reach towards your shoulder blades behind you. And then you're pulling the elbows down in front of you. Otherwise, you're grabbing onto your arms. You're pulling the arms down. Feel the shoulders are coming down. The neck is lengthening here. And breathe. Sitting up nice and tall. I know you have the wall behind you, but we're not leaning on it, not at this moment. Right now your lower abs are engaged. The tops of your hips are lifting up towards your lower ribs, if that makes any sense. Think about grounding through your tailbone, so your pelvis is nice and neutral. One more deep inhale here. And exhale. This time inhale to open the arms out to the sides. And you're going to switch. So whichever arm was on top before, it's the opposite this time. Giving yourself a big hug. Finding length through the neck. But this time tuck the chin down towards your throat. So rather than pulling the forehead towards the elbows, it's chin towards throat. So lengthening through the back of the neck. I feel like the crown of the head is reaching up. And then gently chin comes towards the chest, but think more like your forehead is pointing directly forwards, as though there's like a wall in front of you. You're pressing your forehead against the wall rather than tucking and sending the forehead down. It's reaching forward, chin is reaching back. It's subtle difference, but can you feel that deep stretch in the back of the neck? One more deep breath in. And out. This time as you inhale, reach the elbows up over your head. So you're sort of grabbing onto forearms or you're grabbing onto your elbows. And you're really reaching. So feel like you're using your hands to pull the elbows up. And at the same time, your elbows are pushing up into your hands. You have this big lengthening stretch here. Maybe you sort of twist side to side. Or take some more side bends. You can even round through the back. You have 3 more breaths. Pressing the elbows into hands, hands pulling elbows. On a deep breath in, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, the hands come in front of you. And before we move on, release. If you did use a cannabis-based balm or salve on your muscles, go ahead and reapply. If you're using Tiger Balm, I do not find it necessary to reapply, but if you really would like to, go ahead. Or if you feel like there's a space in your body that is screaming like, you missed a piece, then go ahead and give yourself that moment to do that. Feel free to pause the video if you'd like to. Otherwise, meeting me when you're ready. We're going to finally start to lean against the wall for a moment. So you're going to bring... Actually, are we there yet? Yes. We can lean against the wall for just a moment. And you have the option to either keep the legs crossed just as they are, or open the hips by bringing the soles of your feet together. So sort of uncrossing first, giving yourself a minute to get situated here. And then you want to be leaning against the wall, but just with your hips. So you kind of want like your sacrum pressing against the wall. So if that means sending the feet a little further away from you so that you can feel like you're sitting on top of your hips rather than kind of slouching back and feeling like, like I can't reach, like I'm not, or like, I know I said don't look at me, but like you don't want to be slouching like this or like leaning back where you feel like you can't reach your own legs. You want to feel like you're sitting right on top. Imagine like you're riding a bike. This is kind of the stance when you're riding a bike. Shoulders are right over the hips and you're sort of in line on top of yourself, if that makes sense. You want to be on top of the hips. So adjusting the feet accordingly so that you can have this leverage here, okay? Now, arms out to the sides. Arms reach up overhead, deep breath in. As you exhale, press the hands forwards. And now pulse. Sort of bouncing the hands up and down, up and down, up and down. This is where it feels important to have your sacrum, the back of your hips, kind of like where your hips, like your back meets your booty right there, that's where your sacrum is. That's what you want pressing into the wall. So as you're pulsing, you might feel like you're moving off the wall, off the wall, off the wall. You can kind of feel yourself hitting it. Instead, concentrate. Tuck through the low belly. Push your sacrum against the wall. See if you can maintain contact this whole time. Keep breathing. We've got 5 more deep breaths in through your nose. Continuing to pulse. Keeping the sacrum pressed into the wall as much as you can. Keep going. Everything activated here. This may feel a little intense through the arms, maybe through the shoulders. Stay with it. 1 more deep breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, arms pressed all the way out to the sides and all the way down to the floor next to you. Ooh. Maybe tilting the head one side to the other. Take a moment to either shake it out or rest in that stillness. 1 more time. Inhale, arms reach all the way up overhead. Exhale, palms press directly in front of you. And pulse. Sacrum is pressing against the wall. Push, push, push. Sometimes it helps to think about pushing the soles of your feet together. That kind of helps you get this tightening up of your energy, which from this place, all the energy coming to the center line makes it so much easier to push back versus having everything sort of open and disengaged. Then you're trying to push back and you've got like this jellyfish effect. Instead, push the soles of the feet together. Feel like your knees are even pushing towards one another. Even though they're spread apart, you're squeezing. Think about squeezing the rib cage in. Everything is pushing in. From there, you can push your sacrum back into the wall with so much more strength. 2 more deep breaths. You're crushing it right now. I know it. I can't see you, but I know you're doing it. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, reach all the way out. 1 more big roll with the head and neck. You're going to bring the soles of your feet flat in front of you. And at this point, you can totally allow more of your back to rest against the wall. And actually, you may want to pull the hips away from the wall a little bit for this part. You'll know how much to bend the knees based on when your feet can become flat on the ground. Now, if your toes are just like a little bit lifted and you've got your heels down, but your knees are pretty bent, like don't really stress about that. If you know what I mean, you want to be comfortable in the hips here. This is not about creating more tension. This is about relieving tension. So if you absolutely can't feel the soles of your feet totally flat on the ground, that's okay. Don't trip. But you're moving in that direction. You want to feel that stretch in the tops of the feet, maybe all the way up through the tops of the shins as well. You're going to open the arms out to the side 1 more time, and then you're going to fold over your legs, giving yourself sort of a hug here. I like to sort of grip my fingers at the bottom just to give me a little bit of leverage. You're going to tuck the chin down towards the chest and really just hang here. You're going to be hanging here for about a minute. So find a place where you can sustain the stillness here. And as you arrive, start breathing into the back side of your body. So as you inhale, rather than feeling like your chest is expanding and the belly is expanding, while that's happening too, think about pressing the back of your lungs towards the wall, or maybe even up towards the very top of the wall behind you where the wall meets the ceiling. So it's almost like you can feel your lungs expanding in this upward diagonal sort of motion, that you're ascending, that all of this energy is ascending up towards the sky. Keep breathing, keep the eyes closed, and relax the face. Relax through your jaw. Release the tongue from the roof of your mouth or from the back of the teeth if it's there. Maybe you even stick the tongue out for a couple of lion's breaths, really stretching through the jaw. If you don't know what a lion's breath is, on your next deep inhale, scrunch up your face on purpose, squeeze the eyes really, really tight, purse your lips. And when you exhale, stick the tongue all the way out. Bulging the eyes open as well if that feels good, to really brighten up this stretch, brighten up your face. You could maybe make big circles with the jaw, or just sort of move your lower teeth from side to side, just stretching through the face here as you allow your chest and upper body to melt onto your thighs and knees. As you rest here, noticing how just in stillness, your muscles are really starting to open up. Things are softening. Movement is really happening, even though you're holding a solid foundation. You're holding the stillness in this base. So much fluid action is still being taken. So much motion is still going on. There's still this dance, the ebb and flow of your breath moving in and out of your body, the ebb and flow of the medicine that you're pouring into yourself, whether that's just with your sheer intention or with any type of muscle rub or additional external medicine that you applied. Just feeling the dance and the flow of it all, even within the stillness. You've got about 15 more seconds here. Keep the eyes closed. Continue to breathe. As you feel ready, you'll slowly start rolling yourself back up so that you're in an upright seated position. Keep the eyes closed though as you start to press the upper back against the wall. Taking a moment here just to feel, kind of calibrate to sitting straight up and down. When you're ready for more movement, we'll take some windshield wipers with the knees. So dropping both knees down to one side and then to the other, sort of lingering wherever it feels particularly sticky, or maybe it feels particularly good. It's just like a juicy ass stretch. Give yourself those moments. Pause. Let it feel good. Breathe space into yourself here. About 5 more rounds on each side. The next time you drop both knees over to the right, stay over there and come away from the wall so you're turning your body towards that right side of your space. Now, this might feel like enough of a stretch. You kind of have the left leg curved behind you, the right leg is right in front of you. You have this sort of like figure 4. I can't do my arms like that. We have this like figure 4 shape going on in the legs, okay? So you can stay here, put the hands directly behind you and sort of start stretching forwards and back, opening up the front of that left hip and your outer right hip. Now, this is also going to be maybe a stretch through the hands and fingers and the forearms. And if this feels super good just on the hands, then stay here and keep doing this. We're here for about 10 breaths. Another option is to start to come all the way onto your elbows. So laying pretty far back, but not all the way back. You can stay here, just sort of playing with rocking the hips forwards and back, seeing how that feels. Again, targeting the front of that left hip, But also, perhaps at this phase, you're getting all the way down into your quads as well. And just sort of playing around here. If you're feeling extra flexible today and it feels safe and comfortable in your knees and in your lower back, you can lay all the way flat on your back. If you have a pillow handy or a rolled up blanket, like I mentioned having earlier, maybe putting that underneath your head. It might also feel good to stuff a rolled blanket or pillow underneath that back knee or foot, just using it as a cushion wherever you're needing that extra support. And we've got about 5 more breaths here, so keep on doing whatever you're doing. Not overthinking it, just allowing it to feel good. Reminding yourself what it was that you came to this practice for, what brought you to this video, you know. You're just here so that you can stretch out and feel good before you get to work, you know. That's what it's all about. We gotta have the balance. We gotta work so that we can play. We gotta play so that the work is worth it, you know what I mean? Everything holds space for each other. Just like in that long, still pose we held a moment ago, there's so much motion happening in the body, so much relaxation going on, that is just this fluid movement that's coursing through you, even while you're in stillness, technically, right? So it's the stillness holding space for the movement, and vice versa. So you really want to use your yoga as a practice of holding space and meaning for the work that you're inevitably going to go do. We're going to go to work. It doesn't have to feel like a big deal. It doesn't have to suck, you know. It can feel good. We can feel good while we're at work. Both things can be true. So wherever you are, start coming back up onto the hands if you're not on the hands already. But instead of having the fingers pointing towards you, you're going to put your right hand down behind you, fingers facing away from you. Your left hand is going to reach up and over your head. You're going to push into that backhand, lift the hips up off the floor, up towards the ceiling. Reach that left arm up over your head. Breathe, stretch, expand, take up space, and then bring it right back down. We're going to shift back to center, both knees coming up. So now your back is again against the wall. Take a couple of windshield wipers here. And when you're ready, we'll move on to the left side. So both knees drop down. Turning your body, and this is where it's important that you have your yoga mat long ways, so you have that to kind of lean back on. So you have your knees in this position. The left knee is forwards, sort of parallel to your body. The right knee is behind you. The right foot is behind you, sort of pointing up towards your hips. Again, you can stay here and just sort of play if that feels good. Make some circles with the body, stretching, opening up the hips that way. You can move on to the hands, fingers pointing towards your body, sort of rocking forwards and back, playing with this, stretching through the fingers, hands, forearms. You can come down to the elbows, see how that feels, maybe rock the hips forwards and back. You're here for about 15 breaths, so take your time, breathe. And know that whatever you tried on the other side doesn't necessarily have to fit on this side too. Do what feels good in your body in this moment. Don't worry about what felt good in the last moment, because that last moment has passed. Let the past be in the past. Okay, you're here right now. Continue to breathe. Give it for maybe 5 more deep breaths. Start preparing yourself to transition out of this shape. You already know what's coming next. Moving on to the hands, if you're not on the hands already, starting to make your way there. And then you're turning the fingers away from you. This time it's the left hand that's down. So the hand that's closer to the wall. The right arm is going to come up and over your head. When you're ready, you're pushing into that right hand, lifting the hips up off of the floor, reaching them up. Right arm comes up over your head. Big stretch here. Breathe. Expand. Take up space. And whenever you're ready, coming right back down. Unraveling. Coming back to center just as we began. Maybe some windshield wipers with the knees, just to shake that out. You're going to extend the legs long in front of you, just sort of straight out from the hips. So the feet will be wider than the hips are, but not much. You're not like trying to do the splits. Just give yourself a nice, comfortable little stance here. And again, wiggling yourself so that you're sitting on top of the hips. You're not slouching back, making it so that you can't reach. You're right on top. Arms come out to the sides, the last bit of effort before we move into a rest to finish this session. Inhale, arms reach up over your head. Exhale, hands come forward. And just like we did earlier when we were reaching from side to side, you're just going to sort of reach forwards and then pull back. I'm going to do that 5 times. Reach and pull back. As you reach, you inhale. Exhale, pull. 2 more. Inhale forwards. Exhale back. Inhale. Exhale. This time, inhale, reach forwards, pulsing the arms up and down. Just like we did earlier, we've been here before. You may feel the arms firing up. Maybe the upper back is warming up here too. The lower belly should be engaged. You're pushing your sacrum back towards the wall. The heels are digging down into the floor. Toes are pointing up towards the ceiling, but the heels are pressing down, grounding your legs. Keep pulsing. 2 more deep breaths. 1 more deep breath. Inhale, arms reach up. Bring the palms together. Exhale, drag the hands down to your heart. Close your eyes, tuck your chin. You can choose to keep the legs just as they are, or maybe you bring them back into a cross-legged position, pausing here for just a moment. Finding gratitude for this practice. Thanking your breath for flowing so freely through you. Thanking your body for doing anything you've ever asked it to do. Thanking yourself for showing up, making time, making space for this practice. And deciding that you can hold as many things as you want. You can hold the work. You can hold the discipline, the routine, while still holding flow, while still holding joy. Staying here as long as you'd like to, or perhaps finding a child's pose or any other final resting pose, shavasana, flat on the back. Whatever feels nice, just give yourself a couple of minutes to rest here before moving on with your day, getting ready for your shift, whatever's coming next. I thank you so much for trusting me to lead you through this practice. My name is Sienna. For those who don't know me, I am a 3-time certified yoga instructor and a certified international health and wellness coach. I am dedicated to working with people who work in the nightlife industry. It's been the industry that has kept a roof over my head and food in my fridge for the last 15 years. And now that I've found a practice that helps me feel like I can hold it all, just like I've been saying, this practice helps me feel like I can hold the work and I can hold the play and the joy and all that at the same time. And once I figured that out for myself, it became really important to share that with others, so that's what I'm doing here. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave a comment down below so that I can get some feedback and know how it went for you. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer those for you, or if there's something you'd like to see in a future video, I'd be happy to create that for you as well. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already so that you know when next videos are coming up, when meditations are coming up, and other workshops and things of that nature. And that's it. Thank you so much again. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.